Hey everyone, it's Larry here at LC Model Shipbuilding, and this episode is the real rigging video. Apparently I mislabeled the last one, but sorry about that. So this is all of the rigging and getting the aerials on and all of that good stuff. So yeah, part 21, and I just got, I'm actually really excited. I got all of my parts that I need to get the motors installed and all of the electronics into the ship, so those videos will be coming soon too. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let's get started. Okay, so I purposely didn't video a lot of the rigging so far, only because you can't really see it much, but there we go. So far there's quite a bit going on. So I got all my signal lines going up here, and I'm not going to run flags on them, but then I got my my more what do you call it, standing rigging as well run. So I got one flag on, and I'm going to show my technique for doing that on this one here. So this rope is a little bit taut, or not taut, a little bit loose on purpose, because in the pictures, it all shows the rope basically hanging loosely, but I won't really be able to do that completely to simulate this. And what I do, I cut a piece of my aluminum paper, a little bit smaller than the flag, so it doesn't show through it all. And this stuff is sticky because it's basically like a tape paper, but I want to get my flag to basically be stuck to this for the most part first, which we're pretty decent here. So now I'm going to unstick the paper from the back here. And this kind of helps to simulate the look that the flag is blowing in the wind. Now, I know some people use aluminum foil, which I've done that too, but what I like about this, once I get it, is that the paper obviously sticks to itself, and you don't have to mess with glue and all that stuff. If we can get the paper to come off here on the back of the without damaging the flag would be nice. I got it wet, that is the problem. There we go. Okay, so you can already see it's quite sticky, and we got a bend up here, which will be okay because once I kind of set it, I'm gonna crinkle it up anyhow. Okay, now I just want to make sure that they are pretty well sandwiched together how I want it to be. And you can trim around the flag a little bit, which I'm going to do just because it didn't perfectly land, and I don't want the overhang kind of showing. But once it's crinkled, you won't even notice. So now we're just going to kind of do a few little bends and folds. And basically there we are. I give a little bit of 3D-ness to it and kind of look like it's hanging in the wind. So hopefully you can see, but there you go. All right, so once that's there, it should basically hang towards the back like it is. I'm just trying to get the rope pretty well brought in. But next up, I'm going to bring the bow piece of the ship over and begin the rigging on that. My lighting should be here that I have ordered in a day or two. So I'll be able to get that all connected, and then we'll be able to glue these down onto the main deck. And there's a ton of rigging that goes in between here and the funnel. Well, you can see it right in here. And there's these like aerials, almost like Titanic had, that have like 2 and 4 lines on them. So they're going to be fun. But anyway, that's where we're at so far. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it and get the next part up. Okay, so I'm starting on the forward section here. Now, these 2 little posts that are glued coming out of here right now, they're not included on the kit or on the KA set. However, they are right there. And hold on, I don't know if you can see what I'm pointing at. Let me double check. Okay, so they are right there. So I made them because they have a piece of rigging that comes from here down to here, and then from the tip of that down to here as well. So kind of a minor detail, but I wanted to get it. And that then, yeah, it comes down to the tip on the on here. So we'll be able to do that, and I just wanted to show that real quick. Okay, so in looking at the book here, there is supposed to be a rod kind of thing that comes out to about here, and then it has like another 2 that kind of go up and join with it. So we're going to make this out of a piece of brass rod, because we have rigging it kind of supposed to tie to it that you cannot do without having it. So we're going to make our own since it doesn't come with the kit, and kind of go from there. So I'm putting the main one on the top here, just barely on kind of the railing that sits there. And that's going to kind of go out like that. Well, not kind of, it is. And then I'm going to cut the 2 support beams basically here. Now, I want to make sure I get them exactly on the angle that they're supposed to be at. So I got to look at the picture again and find it. So this might take me a minute. So I'm going to pause it a second while I do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so we are pretty much ready to put these 2 pieces onto the main deck. So I'm going to grab the deck real quick off of the ship and bring it over. And first I'm going to move the funnel, or the front part here, I mean, just to get a little bit better room here. And the one thing that is important as we're doing this is to make sure that my wiring for my lighting is going down inside here, which it is now. So I'm just going to kind of do a final test here and then get ready to go ahead and glue it down onto this deck. So once I get this part done, I'll be able to do all of my rigging across the 2 spots here, and we'll really be getting to a point where we're coming closer to completion. Now, I did just order all of my motors and my servos and all that good stuff for the motorization, which I'll do a whole video on that, but that may be a week or two till some of that stuff gets here. I know the smoke unit's coming from Australia, and there's some other parts that are coming from overseas, so it might just take a bit until everything gets here. So what will end up happening with the channel in the interim, I have a small build that I'm going to be doing of the USS Olympia, so that will be what I'm kind of focused on in the during the wait time here until the parts come. But obviously I'm still going to finish this. The one problem that I have right now is it's winter here in Pennsylvania, so I can't even take it out on the lake to do any testing. One good thing is this ship is short enough that it does fit in my bathtub for at least getting some float tests done and whatnot. So I've already done that, but this hull being as wide as it is compared to Titanic when I built that, will definitely make it a little bit more not versatile, but able to float without doing near as much work. So I'll still have to weight it, but it's not going to be near as bad. Okay, so there we go. Back section is on, and we are pretty solid. So now I'm just going to go ahead and move up to the front. And this is really a big step that I've been looking forward to for quite a long time here. So these are the wires for the lighting again. I did get the navigational lights in, so they are all working now. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this glued down a while. And I am using CA glue because it is basically gluing to wood deck, so that would be, it would not work if I was using the like regular model glue, even though this is a large section that I generally would use model glue for. I can't do it on this. Okay, so drop this down. We got a wire sticking out. Those forward vents came off, so I'm gonna have to reattach them, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. And we're not quite landing how I want to be back here, so I'm working that down a little bit. There we go, that's getting better. It was the front that was holding it up. The hard part with this type of section is where two connect like that, making sure that they're kind of joining on the seam right, because I don't want to end up getting light bleed because of it. Okay, so that is pretty good actually. So what I'm going to do now is replace these vents and a couple other little things here and there that need to get kind of put on, and then I have a couple little walkways that go in between these vents that I need to assemble that I didn't want to do until I had this kind of on in one piece. So I'm gonna do that a while, and then I'm going to begin to do our crossover rigging and all that good stuff. So let me go ahead and pause it, and I will be back. Okay, so now that they're all connected, I got the plane catapults on. I haven't glued these down yet. I got to figure out how I want them. But anyway, what I need to do now is basically figure out my distance here, because there is like a triangle spreader that kind of goes on here for the aerials, and I'm gonna have to build that because they do not come with any of the MK1, the KA set, or the kit. So I'm gonna have to make my own. So basically now I gotta figure out the distance here basically between these two lines, and then kind of start building them. So I'll kind of show what I'm using for that. It's going to be just brass rod, and let me move this and then we'll get started on that. Okay, so I want these to be 4 millimeters, which I already measured out here. So I have one, and I'm going to use it to basically be my guide for the next couple. So I need a total of 4, it looks like. I'm just double checking here. Maybe 5. I think it's, well, it looks like there's a bigger one right in here that has 4 on it. So these are duals. So there's 4 duals, so I'm going to do them first. And then the other part of this is, yeah, there's a lot of these on here, because I see another one right there. But we'll start with the 4 smaller ones. Okay, and they should all be the same length now, or very close to it. And now we're going to need to come this way, and I'm going to make that 3 millimeter, so that's going to be just a little bit shorter. So I'm measuring that out right now. Okay. So I'm going to need, what, 6 of these, because 2 per. And I considered soldering these, but I don't think it'll work. I mean, it probably would, but I'm going to end up having a big solder mark, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to end up doing CA glue as I've thought about it more. That one's a little bit long. 5, that's 4. Now the other interesting thing that I'm going to need to do is figure out how to make this happen. So there's one rope going up and then it splits 4 ways. So that should be fun. But I already kind of have an idea on what I'm going to do there, and I think I'm just going to use an eyelet from Constitution. That'll probably be my best option. So how I'm going to do these, let me get a piece of paper because I don't really want to glue onto my book. I mean, I've already gotten some glue on it, but if I can avoid it, I'm going to. So basically, I'm going to take my glue here, dab it on there a little bit, and just going to put it on the end first. I know these are going to be a royal pain. Okay. Might not have been quite as bad as I thought, but I still got a lot more to do of them. And I'm letting it kind of go on top on there on purpose. That might work. I tried to do this on a 1-350 Titanic years ago, and it absolutely drove me insane. So I've not been looking forward to this part. That will probably work. I'd much sooner have it that the bottom is connected, like, yeah, okay, there we go. So they're not overlapping. But that actually worked. So I overlapped it at first, and what I'm going to do now is just dab a little bit of glue on the corners, inside and out of the triangle. And I do believe this will work. I'm feeling pretty optimistic now. So that is our first one. That's solid. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and make 4 more of these. I will tell you, we're gonna want the thicker cable for attaching it to the mast, but I'm getting ahead of myself right now. So let me go ahead and build these, and I'll be back. Okay, so this is how I'm going to get the tension for these. So I have them made, and I already went ahead and put the string that will attach it to the arm there on the mast, and the distance of those masts where it will connect is 5.5 inches. So first up, I'm going to mark that on here, just so I have a bearing. And these have a small amount of rope that basically come in about here and here on each one. So right about there. And what I'm going to do now is use a skewer, and this doesn't have to be exact on this part because I'm not going to use that length for the actual tie out. So I'm going to tie these onto there with about how much distance I want it to have. So I want it to be about that long off the mast. And this will give me the extra little bit of string that I'm going to need then to tie it onto it. It's not really the mast, I guess it's I guess it'd be the yard arm. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully I got that terminology right, but if I didn't, hopefully you know what I mean. So, same thing over here. Just want to get my length, so about a 1/2 inch roughly. And I'm not going to paint the brass until I get the ropes for the aerials on. So I want to use the thinner line now on the in-between, which is here. So I'm simply going to just tie it on. I got it on the triangle part there. On the wrong side. Well, that's annoying. I'm just gonna cut it. It'll probably be easier at this point. Knife. Okay. Try that again. This time I'll be a little bit more careful in what I'm doing so I don't tie it onto that again. There we go. I'm going to double it, but then I will also hit it with some CA once we're 100% set. And you know what? I think I'm just going to hit it now so I don't have to worry about it coming undone, and I can cut it to the right length. So that's the first one. I'm going to go ahead and cut my string now. And I'm going to set up for the second one. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing here. Just get a touch of glue on there. Okay. Okay, so now over here, we're going to basically do the same thing. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of slack in there on purpose so that the other side will kind of pull that out. Okay. About there. I'm not tying it completely tight yet, just so if I need to do any adjusting, I can. I'm going to tighten up this side. Give a little bit of tension on this one. Okay, so it's pulling a little bit too much on the top here. Oh no, it slipped out. So one thing I was worried about making these out of brass rod. So let me re-glue that. We'll give it another try here. And if this doesn't work, I can always just kind of pull them tight and then CA glue it if I need to too. Which, the more I'm playing with this, I think may be the route that I end up going. Because that's about how taut I want that to be, right there. So I am going to just do that, and then I'll come back over and tie it once that kind of sets. Yeah. And actually, I'm pretty happy with that. So I don't even think I have to adjust the other one. So, I'm just going to tie this around here, and then I'll hit it with CA one last time, and cut it. And then the other nice thing about this, I can just simply slide this up and paint. So that's how I'm doing that. And I'm sure there's other ways out there to do it, but this seems to be working for me. There we go. First one's done. So now I got one more of these to make, and then I can start to attach them to the ship. So I'm going to pause it while I make the second one, and I'll be back. Okay, so those, yeah, wow, those are painted and pretty much ready to go, just letting them dry a little bit. I went ahead and made the slightly larger ones that really probably aren't large enough, so I'm gonna have to go back and redo these slightly. Although I do see another one that's being used right above the funnel, so I guess I will still be able to use that one. Yeah, I will. Never mind. Okay, good. So yeah, there's one that comes down right in front of the funnel. So I'll get these built up and make the larger ones, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have the paint drying on the second set of wireless arrays, but what I'm going to kind of show, here's the first one, and they turned out really pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them. So this one would go from here down to this one here, basically like that, and then the other one goes on the other side over here, and then there's a set of smaller ones that will go from this one here, and they go to this one. These go down to here, so they go like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting them strung up. Maybe not. I'm gonna do some of the other ones first, because we have two that need to come basically from here down to the funnel. So I need to get them on first. So I'm gonna work my way from inside to outside. And I have my book over here at the same time. You can probably not see it in the camera shot here, but that's okay, because nothing really exciting to see. So I'm using two different sized thread right now at this point, one being thicker than the other. And first up, I'm going to go around this mast and basically tie onto it, and then this is the one that's going to come down to the funnel on each side. So this looks like a much thicker cable, but I'm not going too crazy thick with it, obviously. I'm just using the same stuff that I've been using through this. So I am going to tie it once around here in the point that it's supposed to go, and I'm leaving it intentionally a little bit long. Now, the one thing I've had to do with a lot of the rigging so far on the ship has been making actual mounting points, although it does look like the 3D one might actually have something in there. Kind of hard to tell. Need a little bit better light. Let me grab my phone. And I know the lighting probably is not the best when you're dealing with black and gray and all that kind of stuff, but there does appear to be a tie out there. And whether it's really workable or not, oh my, I think it is. Let me check if I can pull that through. That's impressive for printing, because the hole that's there is extremely small. But if I had to make one, I would have just used a piece of thin PE and glued it onto the side of the funnel. Can't even see the darn string. There it is. But I can't get it to tweeze on there. There it is. Almost got it. Alright, well, I'm going to pause it while I get this, because this is probably boring, and I'll get them tied and I'll be back. Okay, so I went ahead and I got both of the, I don't even know if you can see it, let me grab a piece of paper. I got both of the cables up from behind the, or around the funnel, and then I got some of the cross cables that go basically from the upper mast down to here and about midway down to the lower part right under the platform. I know it's probably not really conducive to see it right now, so not gonna go crazy showing it, but yeah, our next spot does look like I can probably do the upper aerials. Actually, I think I can do these two. There's a weird one that kind of goes in here too, but I think I'll be able to work around it. So I'm going to go ahead and set these. So I intentionally left the wire longer than I needed to so that I'd have room to do this, basically. It might be too far. Yeah, that's too far. So I need to bring that in a little bit. There we go. To about right there. I'll only show this one because I'm well aware that it's probably not very visible. Okay. Now the other challenging part of this, as you see, they kind of twist, but there is rigging. It kind of goes down from these down to the deck, and obviously I can't set that until these are attached. Now these should also be more lateral, but I should be able to fix that once I get the other part of it on, where it's connecting down to the deck or the funnel. I forget where it connects, but I'll find that out once I at least get it set. I'm just trying to see if going the other way will help me, but it does not. So I'm going to get these tied and set down, and then I'll be back.